people always ask me, so I'm here to ask you. Slalom, and you've mentioned technology focus. You've mentioned kind of different reasons why you've joined Slalom in your background, but we consider ourselves a modern consultancy. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I love that. I think what it means to me is that we stay on the front edge, right? Do we stay? There's a lot of work that happens in consultancy that becomes in some ways a bit of a commodity, right? And if you want to help differentiate yourselves, especially from the technology side, right, then what we need to do is focus on how do we stay at the front end of what our clients need, and then how do we stay maybe a couple steps ahead so that when our clients are needing to move somewhere, we're not learning with them, that we're actually a couple of steps there ahead of them so we can help them get there in a safe, secure, we can reduce some risk and maybe learn some of the gotchas there. So on the modern side, I say I think that speaks a lot about not just around what we do, but it also talks about what we don't do, right? So we focus, we're over 90% of the work that we do is in the cloud, right? So we have there are a few areas, maybe design work, where it doesn't really make much difference. A lot of work, when you look at our data engineers or software engineering, most of our team, most of the work we're doing is cloud-based, right? The other thing I'd say is it's all agile. So very aligned with agile. So if you think through our methodologies, they're very similar to scaled agile for the safe adherence out there in the world. The other thing I would say on the modern side is that we're very tied to our alliance partners, right? So we have a very small group of partners, and they're technology leaders from our consultancy side who are making big investments. And we feel like if you want to innovate, then it makes sense to have partners who are innovating, so you can kind of plug into that innovation channel that they're driving. So that's our opportunity to dig in there too.
Awesome. I love that answer, especially the what we don't do portion. I think too many times we do focus on, just like any application, like how many features and how many additions can we make, but actually it's what's not there that sometimes becomes even more important. So I do love that answer. And then my last business related question that you've kind of answered, but Slalom, what I've learned is that it's not just a company name. It's not just a noun. I've heard it now in the form of an adjective, as a verb. It can really mean so much around here. So my question to you is, why do you slalom?
That's great. I love it. So I think I've been thinking through a lot of this lately, right? So we're growing, and so I think part of that is being part of an organization that's growing in a healthy way, and so being a part of the foundation that helps with that growth. And so as a part of that means we're spending a lot of time around what makes us special. Where do we continue to improve ourselves? So I think part of it is community, right? So if you look at our Slalom model, we're a market-based model, which means Slalom in Charlotte looks a little bit different than it does in Chicago or Houston or Tokyo or London or Melbourne, right? So pick your major city. So we look like a consultancy that's really invested in the Charlotte community, and so that's kind of what I look for is I want to make sure that we're an organization that looks like what modern looks like in Charlotte. The other piece is really around people first. So I said I'm kind of an engineer that loves people. So I love the fact that Slalom is really focused, that we're all focused on our people, right? So at the end of the day, about great people and great, that's what helps set us apart. And so if you're going to do that, then we have to be a great place to work and a place that really supports and enables our people to continuously grow. And I think the other one is really a little around part of why I came to is around being a technology leader, right? So we as a consultancy just look for any work to do, right? And so just grow by any means. But what we're doing is we're trying to grow in an intentional way that helps set us up and differentiates us. So I see us as technology leaders, and I think that's the third one probably.
Awesome, Sean. Thanks for that in-depth detail. I think it's so important, especially with us, being in Charlotte for 2.5 years at this point. I think it's important to, let people know why, what we do that's different, why you chose Slalom, and what you love about it. So I really appreciate the thoroughness in those answers. So now I'm gonna move it a little bit different in this conversation into that North Carolina. There's a lot of North Carolinians, obviously, now in North Carolina and Charlotte, and these are very important. As you know, you grew up, I think you said, in North Carolina, right? And then moved out and came back. So I don't know if these have changed over time or not, but obviously very important. First question: Pepsi or Coke?
Definitely Coke.
Coke. All right. Barbecue preference, barbecue sauce preference, vinegar, tomato, or mustard?
Vinegar, definitely. The others are just an abomination, let's be fair.
All right, now this is a little bit of a recent kind of food war, but I think it's important nonetheless. Chicken sandwich, Chick-fil-A, Bojangles, or Popeyes?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. I actually appreciate all three. Given the choice, so I'm probably going spicy chicken, Chick-fil-A.
Great choice. I would say I'm a Bojangles person at this point, but I also rarely eat meat. So that's a whole, I probably am out of that conversation. And then this last question, I'm going to be honest with you, was asked of me last week. Has nothing to do with North Carolina, but I love the question. So here it is. If you could be any insect in the world, which would you be?
Wow, that's a tough one. Any insect. I think I might go with an ant, right? Because you look at an insect that lives in large, as an individual, they can't really accomplish much. But when you look at what they can do as a team, they accomplish anything, from whether it's defending their family, their team, whether it's doing things. You see some of the ants that are building big structures. You see ants that are grouping together and floating down water, right? And they're all hooked together. So I think an ant might be what I would line to.
I want you to know, Sean, that was the most in-depth answer I've heard on this question thus far, without Googling or any prep work. That I'm impressed. I want you to know that. I'm very impressed.
Thank
there.
I will say, I think the other nuance you should have asked on the chicken sandwich is you didn't ask for fries. Ooh. So if you're going to go with fries with a sandwich, I think your top ones there, Bojangles is going to win on the fries side for me. But I think I'm pretty fond of Five Guys Cajun fries and some old school McDonald's too.
Sean, I think I'm going to add that one to my next Meet the Team conversation. So whoever's next is going to have to go in depth on their French fry preferences, because I appreciate that. And well, Sean, those are my questions that I think I really wanted to know about you. So is there anything else that you would want, the people listening or watching to know that hasn't been answered today?
Yeah, no, I would just say, I think one of the differentiators is where we are right now at Slalom and Charlotte, especially on the technology side, is we're a team of builders, and we know that we have something special for Slalom, and then we have something special in Charlotte, and something that there's more as we continue to find those who want to build something new with us, right? So that's the piece, and looking forward to the opportunities we see.
Awesome. Well, Sean, I really appreciate you spending the time with me today. The weather's absolutely incredible, so please enjoy the outside. It looks like you're already doing that. So appreciate the time, everyone. Please be on the lookout for more of these. I'll be posting these on a weekly basis, meeting different members of the Charlotte team and the Southeast team. So thanks very much for listening, and we'll all talk soon. Bye.